The opinions and views expressed by guests on the Golden Nuggets Health and Wellness shows do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of the host or those of the station. Additionally, any medical advice shared by guests is not intended to replace the advice provided by your healthcare providers. It is important to exercise discretion and take responsibility for your own health choices. While the Golden Nuggets Health and Wellness shows aim to provide valuable information on holistic health for the mind, body, and soul, individual circumstances vary, and what works for one person may not be suitable for another. Viewers and listeners are strongly encouraged to consult with qualified healthcare professionals, nutritionists, or other relevant experts before making any significant changes to their lifestyle, diet, exercise routine, or adopting new practices discussed on the show. These professionals can offer personalized advice based on your specific needs and health status. The host, guests, and producers of the Golden Nuggets Health and Wellness shows disclaim any responsibility for consequences arising from the use or misuse of the information provided. By engaging with our content, you acknowledge that it is not a substitute for professional advice, and that you will seek guidance from qualified professionals as needed. Thank you for being a part of our health and wellness community.
Welcome to Golden Nuggets Health and Wellness Show, the television program that's redefining self-care for the mind, body, and soul. I'm Dr. Elect Starr, licensed mental health counselor, health and wellness consultant, and your host for this show. Our mission is simple: to empower you with creative and innovative self-care strategies that help you prosper and be in good health even as your soul prospers. We're excited that you have joined us for our third season, The True Meaning of Resilience, Turning Lemons into Lemonade. And throughout this season, we're not only identifying self-care strategies for building resilience, but also we're sharing testimonies of resilience and its remarkable ability to transform lives. In each episode, our guests will describe their lemons and share how they squeeze them into lemonade that's refreshing, inspiring, and impactful. I love what Elizabeth Kubler-Ross said. She said, "The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggle, known loss, and have found their way out of the depths. These persons have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that fills them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep, loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen." Isn't that beautiful? Yes. And joining us today is one of those beautiful individuals in the person of Phaedra Howard. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you, Dr. Starr. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, we're glad to have you. And we'd like for you to share a little bit about you, who you are, and what you do.
Again, I'm Phaedra Howard, and I was born and raised here in Indianapolis. I attended public school here, and I received my bachelor's in business administration from Indiana Wesleyan University. I received my master's of science in internet technology at Pace University, New York. And I have received my Master's of Art in the field of marriage and family therapy here at the Christian Theological Seminary, CTS, here in Indianapolis at Butler. I am a Christian, and I'm involved in ministry at my church. I am married. We have a blended family. I have one biological daughter, and just really love my stepchildren. I love them dearly. I have worked in management for many years, most of my time at AT&T, and Lowe's corporate office, and now I am currently a resident marriage and family therapist here at CTS.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for the lives that you are changing through your services. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I'd like to just kind of open up with you sharing, what were your lemons?
Well, I appreciate you having me on the show today. I am really wanting to talk about how the illness that my mother had when I was a child, how it impacted my life as a child growing up, and even today has impacted me. My mother was number 2 of 11 children, and her parents moved her here from Mississippi when she was about 2 years old. They migrated here, and so I was her only child, and when she was diagnosed with cancer, breast cancer, I was 8 years old. And by that time, she had another child, my brother, Todd. He was 3. And it really just devastated our lives. Things changed at that point. Even though my mother had a large family, again, she was the second of 11, she was very independent. She, at the time, was a mail carrier for the U.S. Post Office and was very independent. And when she was diagnosed, she had sworn her siblings to secrecy, not to tell her children anything about her illness. So she never discussed her illness with me, ever.
Wow.
She kept it to herself when we would ask. She just would say she didn't want to talk about it, that sort of thing. So it really was hard navigating through understanding what was going on, and just really wanted answers and was not given those answers. When I was 16, I had to go and pick up her walker at the little red door. And one of the nurses asked me, she says, "What kind of cancer does your mother have?"
Oh, wow, that's how you found out.
That's how I found
Wow.
out. I didn't know.
Wow.
It was a devastating question. I didn't have an answer, and it was at that moment that I found out that my mother wasn't just dealing with an illness, but she was dying.
Oh, my.
That was really hard. I will say that this illness, my mother battled it from the time, again, when I was in 2nd grade until my senior year of high school. She went in and out of remission. So there were months where she looked like the picture of health and would go back to work. And then there were these long periods of time when she was going through chemo that she would lose her hair, lose weight, gain weight. I remember seeing her beautiful handwriting. And when she was going through chemo, her handwriting wasn't legible.
Wow.
It was like chicken scratch. And you could tell that it affected her to see that she couldn't write. It was like scribble. So it was really hard to watch this, and yet she wasn't sharing, what was going on. So eventually, going through these time periods, probably about the time I was 11 or 12, I began to help with the responsibilities in the house. So I started driving before I was 15 because I had to go and get groceries. She had me, pay the bills, do the chores, just learn a lot of different things, help with my brother. And I didn't mind doing it. I didn't mind it at all, but I didn't recognize that I was missing something. I didn't recognize that there was a void in my life. I didn't realize it at all. Went to school every day. As a matter of fact, I excelled at school. I, around the 4th grade, tested into accelerated classes, had to go to another school because they had just started a gifted program, and they no longer skipped people to the next grade, and was really involved with school, but still having to come home and deal with these things. And so I didn't get the chance to do a lot of other things outside of that. And I didn't know all of what was going on. I was just doing the day-to-day living. So I wanted to say also, my dad wasn't in my life. It wasn't until after her diagnosis that I remember this. I was 8, and my mother told me, she says, "Your dad wants to come over." Well, I hadn't ever seen him. She said that.
You had never seen your dad prior to that?
Not that I know of.
Wow.
So she said, when you were born, he would come over a lot until you were about 3, and then it kind of stopped. But I now know the reason why he came back was because of her diagnosis. She wanted me to have a relationship with him, and so he decided to come back. But when he came that first time, I hid from him. I was afraid.
Yeah, I mean, you had never met him, as far as you know. You could remember.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that really kind of stood out to me. And even going forward, I would see him. We had a relationship, but it wasn't like having a father in your life on a daily basis. So it was a lot to kind of take in and try and figure out, what was going on for me. But again, being involved in school and trying to help out at home, it just kind of kept me busy. And I didn't realize a lot of different things that were kind of in my environment, and things that were, it was a void, things that weren't happening for me. The other thing with my mom, she was very private. She didn't want us to know about the diagnosis, but I cannot remember her hugging me or holding me close. And I can't remember her telling me, "I love you." Now, I know my mother loved me. I know it. She provided for us. But I believe it was because of the heavy life issues, her illness, being alone, having to just figure out what was going to happen. She kept those emotions to herself. She even kept them from me.
Wow.
And to be honest, I wish she had shared with me.
Of course.
But she felt like she was protecting us, keeping us from sadness and hurt. So when she passed away, I was a senior in high school, October. She was 37 years old, almost 38, just a few weeks before.
Young lady.
Yes, I was 17, and my brother was 11, and really just had to deal with what we were going to do in our lives after she passed. And I decided to go to school locally instead of taking the scholarship and going to school at Purdue in West Lafayette. I decided to stay at IUPUI, work full time, take care of us. I couldn't do it. It was just too much. And I had to basically just learn all of these things for myself. And
what a story.
Yes.
What a story.
Yes.
Well, we're going to pause.
Okay.
Take a break.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like you to come back and share more.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Wonderful. Thank you.
What a story. Well, don't go away. We'll be right back.
Feeling Anxious? Perhaps you're dealing with a past trauma and don't know where to turn for help. Turn to Unlimited Possibilities. We provide a safe and caring space for individuals and families to help improve the quality of their lives. Whether you need help with spiritual matters, trauma, depression, and more, Unlimited Possibilities can help you overcome your situation with compassion, acceptance, respect, and empowerment. Unlimited Possibilities, where all things are possible if you believe. Call or visit our website today. Dr. Starr, best-selling author of Golden Nuggets, Food for the Mind, Body, and Soul, is also a health and wellness speaker and consultant who provides motivational speaking, training conferences, and one-on-one coaching to improve the quality of life. She's passionate about helping people heal from the inside out. Dr. Starr provides creative and innovative self-care strategies that empower you to prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Call or visit the Golden Nuggets website today.
Welcome back to Golden Nuggets Health and Wellness Show. For those of you just tuning in, I'm Dr. Starr, and joining us is Phaedra Howard. Before we allow our guests to share how they squeeze their lemons into lemonade, I'd like to share some information with you about resilience. Resilience is the ability to cope and recover from setbacks. And with practice, anyone can become resilient. More than anything, resilience comes from mindset. By controlling how you think about a situation, you can control how you respond to the situation. Here are 4 self-care strategies for building resilience. Number 1, focus on what you can control and accept the things you cannot control. 2, adopt a growth mindset. View hardships as opportunities for growth. You can just ask yourself, what can I learn from this? 3, seek support. You can gain new insights and ideas to manage things better. And 4, face your fears. This builds confidence. Avoiding fears leaves the problem unresolved. So now we're going to turn back to our beautiful guest. Phaedra, tell us, how did you turn your lemons, this story of your mom suffering from cancer and death, into lemonade?
Thank you. Well, it was devastating losing my mom my senior year of high school, getting started and basically making a home for myself and my brother. What I began to realize was that I didn't have any real direction. No one had talked about how to deal with relationships, family, boys, all of these different things that were now happening to me. And so I started to just lean into my relationship with God. I took my experiences and really just tried to apply what I was learning and growing in my relationship with God. There's a scripture that says, when your father and mother forsake you, that the Lord will take you up. And even though my mother didn't abandon me, she wasn't there. She was gone. She had passed away. My father wasn't there. And I honestly believe that just my primary resource for figuring out and anchoring my heart and my mind and giving me hope about my ability to make it came from my relationship that I began to really grow with God. The relationship with God also allowed me to connect with a new community, my church. And to be honest, that is like home to me. It is just having that community of people, that church organization and relationship really has helped me feel that I could do things, that I had people that support me, that I could make it. I moved to Tennessee and Georgia with my job, and there were other places within our church organization that I could go and have community there as well. So it was and it still is a rock for me. The other thing was, when my mother passed away, a lot of her siblings and family said that we wouldn't make it. We couldn't be successful. They just did not have high hopes for us. But I was able to not let how they identified me make me who I was.
Excellent.
I was in the mindset of, well, if God is for me, what is it he would have me to do? How can I make this? So
That's beautiful.
was able to, thank you, I was able to find hope in myself and find my identity. And that identity it led me to want to connect with others, to open up myself, not close myself in as what I had experienced, but to open up and allow myself to have, interaction with people, being a little vulnerable, letting people know I care about them if they were showing care for me. So that connection with others really meant a lot for me. And I want to say, I had an elementary school teacher who just stayed with me. She's still with me to this day. And she thinks of herself as a mom, and I think of her as a mom, and she thinks of me as a daughter. And that's just, again, me opening up to special relationships, not closing down. And it just really did help me to move into the lemonade.
Wow. So share with us some of the things you're currently doing, because this experience of having your mom struggling with cancer through your elementary, high school years, and then to die, how is that impacting you today? Do you mind sharing that?
I wanted to turn it around because I didn't want people to feel like I felt. So when people have similar situations, I find myself wanting to pour into them, wanting to share, wanting to help them through struggles. As I said, my mom was number 2 of 11, and we're down to 1 sibling. Wow. So 10 have passed away. So I was able to share with and help my cousins and other family members that lost their parents and their loved ones. So that was huge for me. I also have been able to work with single moms in our family and really care to help them navigate where they are, the options that they have, help them find resources and strength to become the best that they can be as well, and kind of lift that burden for them and let them know they're not alone. So these kinds of things that I've done with friends, family, even coworkers, I care to be approachable. I understand boundaries and balances, but just letting people know that, I have an ear to hear and to listen.
Beautiful.
Because people care about being heard.
Absolutely.
Being valued, and just knowing that somebody supports them. So
I agree.
So I feel like that's what led me into my current role as a marriage and family therapist at CTS. And I enjoy it thoroughly. I enjoy working with couples, families, individuals, dealing with all kinds of issues, whether it be relationships, life transitions, anxiety, depression, even grief. I just feel like I have come into my calling, and it is such an honor. I just feel as though, this is where the Lord would have me. And so those experiences have helped me to connect with people.
Absolutely.
I'd like to say one other thing. I really love my mom, and my daughter didn't get to see her because she had passed away. And so in order to have my daughter have that connection with my mom and feel that, I named her after my mom, and my daughter just loves that.
Oh, that is beautiful.
So just knowing and honoring what my mother sacrificed, how that may have been hard for her. I can't imagine all of what she went through, but I don't blame her. I love her and really wanted to honor her with naming my daughter after her.
What a beautiful story.
Thank you.
You truly have turned your lemons into lemonade. And I can't think of a greater person to help someone with grief and loss than someone who has already walked that walk.
I
you know,
agree.
You feel. It's just something about when you have experienced that thing, you can describe it in detail, and sometimes more than the person is hurting. Because have you ever had someone say to you, wow, you described exactly how I'm feeling, and I couldn't even do that. Have you had that experience?
Yes.
Because you've been there, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for all that you've done and that you're doing in the community to make a difference. And I'm sure our audience also can find solace, and strength through your testimony. And I'm just thinking about the Bible says, and they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. And in fact, that's one of the things that prompted me to do this. God just spoke to my heart and said, many of the churches have taken testimonies out of the churches, and what a mistake they have made.
I agree.
Because that is founded upon the word of God. That is a biblical principle that when someone hears a story that matches theirs, they find comfort and they know that they're not alone. But here's the second piece. They say, in most cases, well, if they made it, I can make it. Or if God did it for them, he can do it for me.
Yes.
And so I'm so thankful that you shared your story. And I'm sure our audience appreciates you as well. Thank you for being with us today. And thank you, audience, for being with us today as well. We appreciate your presence, and we appreciate your presence as well.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's an honor. So remember, when life throws you lemons, make lemonade. Goodbye for now.
Dr. Starr, best-selling author of Golden Nuggets, Food for the Mind, Body, and Soul, is also a health and wellness speaker and consultant who provides motivational speaking, training conferences, and one-on-one coaching to improve the quality of life. She's passionate about helping people heal from the inside out. Dr. Starr provides creative and innovative self-care strategies that empower you to prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. Call or visit the Golden Nuggets website today.